wait and your daughter may die.
If she does this, your daughter will need hormone replacement therapy for the rest of her life.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the biggest inaccuracies in this otherwise brilliant medical drama. This is your spoiler warning.
No, it's somewhere near the heart.
House, you've got to do better than that.
Number 10. You can't wake a brain-damaged patient with drugs. Kyle's health is failing fast, and the team can't figure out why. House wants to get a better medical history, but Kyle's only living family is his dad, Gabriel, who's been in a vegetative state for 10 years.
You're not waking Kyle. You're waking his father.
I commend your observational skills.
You have no reason to think any amount of drugs will wake a man from a coma.
Vegetative state, much easier.
House decides to wake him up using a cocktail of drugs, and miraculously, it works. This plot point is based on a real discovery by neurologist Oliver Sacks. House even mentions the movie based on Sacks' memoir.
All Seen Awakenings made me cry.
The problem is that Sacks was working with patients with a specific brain condition that responded to the treatment. Gabriel, on the other hand, is unconscious due to brain damage from oxygen deprivation he suffered during a house fire. No combination of drugs can cure that.
As Dr. Cuddy says, my body will adjust to the drugs. That'll be a vegetable again by tomorrow. If I'm really lucky, the day after.
Yeah.
Number 9. Truth serum isn't real. Everybody lies. But in Jordan's case, it's not her fault. Her compulsive lying is a symptom caused by a bleed in her brain. Cameron suggests treating her with amobarbital, a type of so-called truth serum, in order to get accurate information about what she did the previous night.
Amobarbital would suppress her thalamus.
She's on antiarrhythmics. Amobarbital could stop her heart.
She's already dying.
Except amobarbital doesn't work the way Cameron says it does. Not only that, but truth serum is known to be highly unreliable.
I thought truth serum was only stuff they gave people in lame spy movies.
We know you're scared, and we know you want to tell the truth. We're going to help you do that.
It's too easy to unintentionally influence the subject's answers by asking leading questions, exactly like Cameron is doing. The team learns this the hard way. Instead of the truth, Jordan tells Cameron what she wants to hear while she's under the influence of the drug.
So she got supplements,
With iron.
which overcooked the liver, which caused bleeding. More blood, more iron, more bleeding, more blood.
Is she going to be okay?
Only if we give her a high dose of Tazidine for the Vibrio and chelate for the hemochromatosis.
Number 8. Hypnosis doesn't work like that. After sustaining a concussion in a bus accident, House's memory is impaired. He's certain he noticed a symptom of illness in one of his fellow passengers before the crash, but he can't remember what it was.
It's not a coincidence.
You mean like the hand of God reaching down and screwing with you?
That, or the symptom caused the crash.
At Kuttner's suggestion, Chase hypnotizes him, which works incredibly well. In fact, it gives him perfect recall, enabling him to see and hear everything on the bus as if he was really there.
Cool.
Focus on the details.
Bus is empty.
Of course, hypnotism doesn't work this way, especially when it comes to retrieving memories. People under hypnosis are highly susceptible to creating false memories, meaning House wouldn't be able to trust any details he recalled in that state. Considering how skeptical House is about most things, we're surprised he's so trusting of this process.
What do you have to tell me? I was talking to the passengers on the bus.
You were hallucinating.
Number 7. Immunocompromised patients can survive infections. When a young woman is admitted to the hospital after collapsing, the team can't agree on a diagnosis. Foreman insists that it's cancer and talks House into giving the patient full-body radiation, which knocks out her immune system. After the treatment, they discover that she actually has an infection that has progressed to sepsis.
Sounds like she's septic.
A lot of things can cause pain.
How much pain?
Too much.
Foreman acts as though this is a death sentence. He explains that since the patient has no immune system, antibiotics won't work, and the infection will definitely kill her.
It spread to your heart.
Then give me drugs. They have drugs for infections?
Antibiotics work with the immune system, but your immune system is non-existent because of the radiation.
In reality, patients with suppressed immune systems can survive infections, and antibiotics are an important part of that treatment. Medical mistakes can be costly, but in this case, Foreman's screw-up didn't necessarily have to be fatal.
There's nothing left for you to do. One of us could go home
You're
with
trying to
you.
make me feel better.
Yeah.
I killed a woman. Don't you think it's appropriate I feel like crap for at least a little while?
Number 6. You can't collect bone marrow without sedation. Would you sacrifice one child to save another? That's the impossible choice facing this family.
His symptoms could let us diagnose Maddie.
But it'll kill Nick.
Yes.
You're saying we should kill one son to save the other?
Nick has leukemia and needs a bone marrow transplant from his younger brother Maddie to survive. Unfortunately, Maddie has developed a serious infection, and the donation might kill him.
Your brother was willing to risk his life to save you. Are you willing to do that for him? I can't sedate you. Too sick.
Foreman performs the extraction with no anesthesia or pain control while Maddie writhes and screams. Not only is this incredibly unethical, doesn't make sense. Doctors sedate extremely sick patients all the time. On top of that, jamming multiple gigantic needles into a little boy's bones would be way more stressful to his body than sedation. We get that the episode needed to prove how ruthless Foreman can be, but this scene was hard to watch.
Tortured the kid.
Because you know it was right. You know you were saving his brother.
I know.
Number 5. Testosterone doesn't cause those symptoms. Lucy and Jasper's dad has been using the over-the-counter testosterone cream to enhance his performance. But he has no idea that he's been sweating it out through his pores and accidentally transferring it to his kids.
Every time you gave the little tykes a hug, you gave them a dose of testosterone. Smaller for you, but more than their little bodies can handle.
Jasper develops a crush on Dr. Cameron and starts behaving aggressively towards Chase, who he sees as competition. Meanwhile, Lucy's eyes and the area around her heart become inflamed, and she starts menstruating, even though she's only 6 years old.
Her body has too much sex hormone. It caused her reproductive system to get confused, start operating prematurely. We need to find out the source of the hormones and cut it off.
However, testosterone wouldn't actually cause any of Lucy's symptoms. In fact, it does the opposite. People assigned female at birth who start taking testosterone usually stop having periods. The writers on a medical show ought to know that sex hormones aren't interchangeable.
Well, why can't it be October?
Because May is when things start to get hot.
If that guy wasn't trying so hard to keep up with a woman half his age, he wouldn't have almost killed both his kids.
Number 4. Doctors can't randomly switch departments. Each member of House's team has a specialty. Chase is an adult intensivist and surgeon. So in season 2, when he decides to take a break from House by working on the neonatal intensive care unit, Cuddy should have shot that idea down.
Chase caught a case in the ER. He wants us to take a look.
Unless Chase broke his neck falling off his polo pony, he had no reason to be in the ER.
Cuddy put him on a 2-week NICU rotation.
Doctors can't hop from one department to another on a whim, any more than a math teacher can suddenly join the history department. The show makes this mistake all the time.
I needed a break from the patients. They lie to us all the time.
We constantly see the team doing procedures that they're not qualified for, like when House performed brain surgery in season 3.
I'm not doing that.
That was all me, kid. Sorry.
Of course, when you have a small cast and you want your main characters to get all the screen time, you kinda don't have a choice. Number 3. No way they missed a tumor that big. Sometimes House sacrifices logic for the sake of drama. Andy is admitted because she's not getting enough oxygen to her brain, but tests reveal nothing.
That means her blood isn't getting enough oxygen. That's a problem with her lungs, not her heart.
And a lung problem isn't causing hallucinations.
But the lungs could lead us somewhere that is.
Welcome to the end of the thought process.
During surgery, however, the doctors find a tumor extending from Andy's lung to her heart. Wilson explains that it wasn't visible on scans because it's growing on the heart wall. But this makes no sense. Any tumor big enough to cause Andy's symptoms would be visible on an X-ray and MRI.
So you're gonna cut her open?
Exploratory surgery. Gotta find this thing.
This isn't the only time the docs miss something major while running tests. Later in season 2, Wilson performs an ultrasound to check for ovarian cancer and somehow misses the fact that the female patient has no uterus because she's actually intersex.
And none of them have cancer.
Ovaries?
There's no mass. If anything, they're undersized. No leukemia, no Hodgkin's. We checked everything. Unless they've invented a new organ, it's not cancer.
Number 2.
Different types of cancer require different chemotherapies.
House and the team spend most of this episode arguing about whether their patient has cancer. They can't find a tumor, but they've ruled out every other option.
And that leaves cancer.
Cancers have names. They have a progression. They affect specific organs. Bone cancer can't turn into liver cancer. Forget cancer.
It's cancer.
Despite not being convinced that she actually has cancer, House decides to treat her with chemotherapy. The only problem is that there's no such thing as all-purpose chemo. There are many different chemotherapy drugs, and they each work on different types of cancer.
Start sequencing her genes. I'm gonna start treatment.
Treatment for what?
Cancer.
It's not cancer. Chemo's toxic.
It's something. Which means we should treat her for something.
If you don't know what type of cancer you're treating, you can't just order generic chemotherapy. If you pick the wrong type, you're going to do way more harm than good.
People have confidence in doctors. They have confidence in diagnoses, confidence in medicine. Sometimes they get a little better just because they think they will.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1.
You don't use a defibrillator when a patient's heart stops.
Clear.
Wait!
I got a pulse. Cancel the ambulance. He's stable enough to stay here.
We could have picked any one of a dozen episodes to illustrate this mistake, because it comes up again and again. You don't shock a flatlining patient.
Defibrillators are used to correct an abnormal heart rhythm, not to get a stopped heart going again.
In fact, shocking a flatlining patient might make it harder to restart the heart.
Charging. Clear. Again. Clear. He's back.
We get it. Using the paddles is way more dramatic than watching someone do CPR. They make a cool noise, the patient's whole body jerks, and you get to yell, "Clear!"
Clear!
That's probably why so many medical shows get this wrong. Which one of these medical mistakes ruined the episode for you? Let us know in the comments.
This makes no sense.
I know.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.